All right. What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for joining us tonight on another episode of Zave's Corner. Listen, I'm so very excited for you to be here with us tonight. But before we get too far, I need you to do me a few favors. Go ahead, hit that share button. Make sure you get all your Black-owned business owners, those of you all that are watching. If you know somebody that owns a Black-owned business, CEO, CFO, president, executive director, won't you go ahead and tag them and say, listen, tune in. Just put that right there in the comments. Tag their name and say, @tune in. Listen, we want every CEO, every person that is in touch with a Black-owned business to join us here tonight. I'm so very excited about this conversation. I've got some dynamic CEOs that are sitting backstage. And let me just say for the record, this thing is personal. It's personal because I know these CEOs. I've had the pleasure of either learning from them, working with them, praying with them, but just watching their vision come to pass. I believe everybody that's on this panel tonight is destined. If they're not a millionaire already, they're destined to exceed that $1 million threshold real soon. So go ahead, share it with your friends. Let them know Zave is live. We're hot and we are cooking with some hot oil tonight. All right. Before we get too far, you know, in typical Zave's Corners fashion, we got to do like they do in the church, and we got to give some church announcements real quick. To those of you all that donated to our back to school drive, I'm so very grateful and thankful for you. We're going to have an update coming within the next week about just where your donations went. So stick around for that. Be back with us. But if you are looking to help us continue the great work that the XRR Greatness Foundation has started, we've got 4 different ways for you to partner with us. You can partner with us via PayPal at greatfoundxr@gmail.com. You can Zelle us at 404-989-3883. You can Cash App us at $XRR1208. Or you can make your check payable to Greater Love Enterprises, P.O. Box 492574, Atlanta, Georgia 30349. Okay, and we've got those 4 ways made available. We've also just launched, and I'm so very excited about this because this has been stirring in my bosom. We have just launched the Greater Love Zave's Inspirational Vitamin, and that is live every Monday morning at 7:15 via Facebook Live at the Greatness Foundation or on Instagram at GreatFoundXR. All right, so check us out every Monday morning. Listen, it's the vitamin that you did not know you needed. All right. Come and hear about just how great your week can be with the 3-minute inspirational vitamin, okay? And as a programming note, we'll be right back here next Sunday at 7:30, and we are going to be talking with the daughter of a legend. That's right. I've got Miss Ferris C. Watkins, the daughter of Willie A. Watkins Funeral Home. She will be right here at Zave's Corner at 7:30 next Sunday. So you definitely want to hear the story about this beautiful young lady who is now getting ready to step up into some really big shoes, okay? All right, so check us out next Sunday. Love to see you, but I'm so glad you're here right now, okay? Listen, again, drop in those comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you're representing. Let us know the Black-owned businesses that you love to support. We want to hear from you tonight, all right? Tonight's episode is entitled Black Dollars Matter. All year long, we have been witnessing and we've been watching the world protest and testify to the fact that Black lives matter. But we've got to take this thing and really bring it on home. Where are you spending your Black dollar, right? When you say, Zave, my dollar is green, I get that. But where are you spending your hard-earned money? Some of us go to Walmart, some of us go to Target, and we shop at these big retail chain stores. But did you know for every retail chain store, every retail company that you support, there is a Black-owned business for that? Isn't that crazy? There is truly a Black-owned business for that. I'm sitting in Zave's Corner tonight with some dynamic, powerful, wonderful CEOs who are going to just testify to the power of the Black dollar. All right. So listen, y'all know you're going to hear my mouth anyway, but let's go ahead and do what we do best. Let's bring them out. Listen, I'm so very excited to have this young lady. She's no stranger to Zave's Corner. Listen, she really doesn't need an introduction, but I promise you I would get in trouble if I did not give the angel of Zave's corner. Let me hype her up real good. The angel of Zave's corner, the princess of Zave's corner, my lovely, my beautiful, darling best friend. Won't you come on out and join us? Charcy, how are you, darling? Good to have you on.
Hey.
So glad to have you. Thank you so much for being with us as a guest tonight. You seem to be making quite a few cameo appearances here on Zave's Corner. I don't know who's doing the scheduling, but I'm going to have to talk to them about that. Needless to say, tell us what you do. Tell us the name of your Black-owned business and how long you've been in business.
Well, for those who don't know me, I am Charcy. I am the producer mainly of Zave's Corner. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. Say it all the time. And I just started or relaunched my jewelry business called Laura Lane Jewelry, and I relaunched last month. And I'm so excited to be in this panel tonight.
Awesome. And I'm so glad to have you. And a special shout out to Laura Lane because they are promotional consideration for tonight. I have been rocking my Laura Lane piece all second season, and I am just absolutely in love with it. So thank you again for being here, Charcy. I can't wait to talk to you about the power of Black dollars. All right. Okay. This next gentleman, he is known throughout the world as the executive producer of happiness, but he was my teacher. Back at 2575, and he has gone on to just be, first of all, a powerful Black man in the city of Atlanta, meeting just legends, but he is really good at making you have a smile on your face. And I'm so very honored to have him here tonight. I don't think he knows how much of an honor it is for me. Like I'm just so overwhelmed with joy. Let's bring him out. He's no stranger to you and me. The one, the only. Listen. Your name is Mose James, but that respect factor always kicks in, and I'm like Mr. James. So what's going on, Doc?
You can call me Mose now. It's been 8 years since you was in my class. I think you graduated to at least call me by my first name.
Hey man, listen. I'm first of all, let me say again, it's such an honor to have you on. Why don't you tell the people the name of your company and how long you've been in business?
All right, so I am the executive producer of happiness at OMG Booth. And OMG Booth is a company that really comes out and, like you said, makes people smile. The closest thing that we could call it would be a photo booth, but we do so much more than that. Since the year 2010, we've been aligning ourselves with the biggest Fortune 100 companies all over the nation, traveling all over the nation and parts of the world. Just making those events a little bit brighter, a little bit happier by connecting brands to the people that come through their door and providing just amazing photo experiences. Of course, 2020 threw a curveball our way, and we retooled, we created some new things, and I'm more excited today than I've ever been.
Wow. And that is so phenomenal. Before we bring out our next panelist, I've got to put this picture up. This picture is from 2012. It was Charcy and I senior year. Charcy, don't hide your head, baby. We didn't come a long way. But this is from Facebook, the OMG booth, with all of our friends. That's Courtney. It's two Courtneys in the picture. Stephanie, and looks like to my left is Charcy. I was SGA president that year, and we had just finished Rake Day. Rake Day is an annual tradition at Tri-Cities High School. And of course, we had the wonderful OMG booth, and I think that was year 2 of the OMG booth. Is that correct?
That is correct. And Zave, I don't know if you remember this, but that's something else that we share in common. I was student government president at Tri-Cities High School back in the year 2000 as well.
Wow, I did not know that. But then let's also throw everybody this curveball. I've worked for you before with the OMG booth. Absolutely, man. And so, it's like I said, it's an overwhelming joy just to have you here tonight, man. I'm so honored and so happy just to see another Black man as an example. We're gonna get into that tonight. Let me not get ahead of myself. Thank you for being here.
No doubt.
This next young lady, she in my eyes is just literally the queen of getting out there and making it happen. We met through a mutual friend, but I have had just the pleasure of sitting down and watching God take her step by step. She is mobile right now. because she's all about her family and doing what she can for her family. So we praying safe travels, but we're gonna bring her in. We're gonna bring her in as she rides in her new whip, and she'll tell you about that little gift. I'm gonna talk about it because me and this one we done prayed many nights together. So let's go ahead and bring her in. Raven.
Hello.
Don't get shy on me. My plug wears heels.
Yes, sir. I'm here. And I apologize if I lose y'all. I promise I'm going to come right back in.
No worries. We understand. We understand. Listen, tell us the name of your business and how long you've been in business.
The name of my company is R&Z Financial Services, and I have been in company about 5 years now. Going on 5 years in August.
5 years this month. This is August. 5 years this month.
We're in August. Yeah, this month.
That's what happened when you make all that money. You forget. You forget what month it is. That's how rich I'm trying to be, y'all. Listen, in typical Zave Corner fashion, I've got my panelists here. We've got one more panelist that may or may not make a guest appearance tonight, and he is the owner of Presley Funeral Homes in Columbia, South Carolina. Of course, if you know anything about the death industry, there's no such thing as a day off, and so he actually got a death call right before the show. Hopefully he makes it in. If not, we would love to have him back on Zave's Corner to talk to us about that industry and his passion and his love, okay? But let's get right on into the show. Let's get it going. Let's talk about being the CEO. I am the CEO. Listen, I want to start off by asking you all this. You all have all named your companies and you've given us the timeline of your companies. But before you went into business for yourself, right, you had a profession prior to. And Mose, we've kind of talked a bit and mentioned it to our audience about what you did, but just kind of tell us for a minute. It looks like we're getting Daryl Presley in. So let me hold off real quick. I think we got him in. Presley, can you hear me? If you just shake your head and we'll bring you in. All right, Charlie, let's try to get him on in. Presley, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you real good. You know, I'm driving.
No worries. We got two of you. We got two of you in the car right now, so we're gonna make it work.
Okay, all right.
Listen, Doc, tell us the name of your company and how long you've been in business.
It's Presley's Funeral Home, and we've been only in business for 13 months, but I've been doing mortuary service over 20 years.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you and I also share in that love for mortuary services. Myself working for Willie Watkins, and we're both ministers. So we definitely got a connection there. Another big brother of mine. So thank you for joining us, Daryl. We'd love to have you, and we understand if you get cut off, just jump right back in when you can. But Mose, let's go back to you. The question at hand is, prior to launching your company, what were you doing?
So I launched my company in the year 2010, and for the previous 8 years to that, I was a teacher at Tri-Cities High School. I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to start teaching at my alma mater in the year of 2000 and, well, I'm sorry, 6 years prior, in the year 2004. And, but I've been an entrepreneur at heart since the age of 15. I actually had my first paying job as a graphic designer right there at Tri-Cities High School as well, doing the logo design for the Tri-Cities High School dance department, a logo that they still use to this day. So it was in that moment that I first got my taste of what it was like to create an invoice, give an invoice to someone and get paid off of that invoice. And from there, I went on to do graphic design, freelance work for several people. I went on to Georgia State University, and while at Georgia State University, a random opportunity to teach at Tri-Cities High School popped up. I wasn't in school to be a teacher. I was in school to be a graphic designer, but there was a need. I had in my mind, I had a product to give them, which was education. I came back and I taught, and 6 years later, I was rocking and rolling. That year, my wife and I, my wife now, but fiance at the time, we were searching for a photo booth. We couldn't find what we wanted, so like everybody on this call, I'm sure we decided to create it. It isn't, it's not always something that's just brand new. It's just something that you might see a void in the market, and we knew that if we put our thumb on it and brought our pieces of ourselves to the marketplace, we could do something amazing. So we created something of our own for our wedding, and that was in the year 2010. And 10 years later, we're still rocking.
And that is phenomenal by itself, man, because like you said, you had no intentions of going to teach, and it was literally you went from a step into the next step, which has propelled you to where you are today, right? And we're going to talk about the importance of kind of going through the process of life. I want to go to Raven real quick because I love Raven's story, but I want Raven just to give us a glimpse, and hopefully she can still hear us. I want Raven to give us a glimpse kind of what that process was like. Raven, what were you doing beforehand, before you launched R&Z Financial? Okay, we're gonna come back to Raven. Presley, and y'all forgive me because this is how Daryl and I talk. Daryl, you actually began working under your parents, right? Because your parents have a funeral home, and then you transitioned. Tell us about that. Tell us about that process.
All right. You broke up. Can you repeat that right quick? You broke up.
Sure. We're talking about the process of you coming into what were you doing before you started your own business? So your father and your mother own a funeral home. So kind of talk to us about what you were doing prior to starting your funeral home. What was that process like? What were you doing beforehand? You can't hear me? Okay, we're going to drop them down, and we're going to work through these technical difficulties tonight. Charcy, talk to me. That's all right. Listen, this is Zave's Corner, y'all. Y'all know me. We're going to keep it going until we get it all worked out. Everything is everything. Charcy, you actually are doing double duty right now. So talk to me about this process.
I'm stressed. No, it's fine. I could just tell you how I started my business and what the goal was behind starting my business. Oh, you want to bring it back? We can bring it back. Hold on. Can you hear us? Oh, they got Raven too.
Keep going, Charcy. Go ahead. We'll come back.
So I initially started Laura Lane in the idea started in 2018, and I launched it the first time in 2019 and relaunched in 2020. So when I thought of the idea of having my own business, I didn't know what it was going to be then. I was working like these little regular 9-to-5 jobs, and I was in school about to graduate college. And I literally would quit every single job I had. I would quit. Like I had like 4 jobs in 1 year. I quit every single one of them. My parents would joke like, maybe you need to just own your own business. You need to work for yourself. Maybe, having a job isn't for you. And I was like, okay, whatever. We joked about it. One day my dad and I were walking down the stairs. Like he was going down the stairs. I was going up. He just stopped me. He said, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to work with kids. He was like, okay, but do you want to do anything else to bring, extra income to enhance your talent? Do you want to do anything else? And I was like, I don't know. He was like, so what are you good at? What can you do? I said, I can work with kids. And he was like, okay, so how can you take that and branch it off into something bigger? He said, like, he was talking about himself and how he liked to do photography and like to cook. And I was like, but I don't know what else I can do. And he was like, well, can you do hair? I said, I can't braid. And he was giving me all these things of what you can do and things that are trending now that young ladies doing and making extra money. And that summer, it hit me when I started making like scrapbooks and I started doing cards, if anybody remember that. And then I just randomly started creating my own jewelry. And that is how Laura Lane started that summer. But I was an educator then. So I'm an educator now, still doing Laura Lane. So that's that.
And like I said, we watched the manifestation of you coming into your own, right? Raven, we've got you. Won't you tell us what were you doing before we got into R&Z Financial? Because you really had like a spur of the moment jump. Talk to us about that.
Yes, actually, I had my company while I was working, but I was actually working as an intake specialist and a legal assistant for a personal injury firm before I went full time into my business.
And literally, you had to just take that jump and go straight forward. But here's the thing I really want us to get to. as we talk about not just taking that jump, and we talk about really going into business for ourselves, the importance of the black dollar. You all, as black business owners, you see it every single day in your customer service, in your interactions, in the services that you offer. Do black dollars matter?
They do.
Definitely. Definitely.
And everybody gave me a unanimous like. It was a little slow. Like, yeah, they do. They do.
Definitely.
I mean,
Like black dollars, we as a community, we spend trillions of dollars every year. That's on hygiene products, beauty products, designer brands, anything you can name. We are spending trillions of dollars just as a black community on these different brands and different products. If you take that same money, invest it into smaller black owned businesses, bigger black owned businesses, just put any money that you have into that. Can you imagine what our businesses could be today? Could you imagine what our economy as a black community could look like? That's just trillions of dollars.
literally. And I want to get Mo's and I want to get Daryl's opinion as well. Hopefully, Daryl, you can hear us. If not, just log back out and log back in, and we'll bring you in. But Mo's, talk to me, because you are literally in an industry where the moment matters. You are capturing the moment, and I love how you branded yourself as the executive producer of happiness. That for me is just exciting. But talk to me about the importance of that black dollar for your business.
Well, one thing that's very important now, black dollar, the spending of the black dollar is really what controls the entire economy. If you look at all these other people are trying to see how we are spending our money, and then they go and they bite it, they try to replicate it, they try to imitate it, but it all starts as a bubble within the things that we are doing. One thing I noticed when I first started my business, again, I said earlier, I knew that if we put a piece of ourselves into the photo booth industry and we just gave them a little bit of our culture, then that would allow us to grow up. Well, what ended up happening, we just started, we focused on who we were. And the people within our community, they took notice, they spent money on us. And then simply by doing that, not even attempting to reach out to mass market, those telephone calls started coming into my door. So when you talk about does the black dollar matter, yes, it matters. The black dollar controls the mass market dollar. It's those people that are looking at the way that we're spending our money. Now the problem is we don't do a really great job of keeping that money within our community. And if we, just like Sharice was just saying, if we understood the control and the power that we have with our black dollars to keep it within our community so that it can generate and build wealth within ourselves, then we just don't know the power that we have. And go right ahead.
I was gonna say that's so important, because when we talk about dollars and power, Raven, this really goes right into your business, because you deal with helping people get on their feet by repairing their credit, right? So talk to me, because this is something you see every day, and just because I know you work late into the night helping your clients reach their full potential with their dollar. Talk to me about why that dollar is so important, and just the purpose of really putting it in the right place.
Say that last part for me one more time. I'm sorry, Xavier.
Just the importance of putting that dollar in the right place. Talk to me about that process. You're seeing this with your clients, helping them repair their credit, doing their taxes. Talk to me about that investment, making sure that dollar is going into a black owned business, or even you as a realtor, using a black realtor to purchase their home. Talk to me about that.
I definitely think that it's very important, because again, it helps our community grow. Like for instance, on the South Side, we have not such a good rep over there, but over the past years, a lot of people have put their money back into that community, and it's grown a lot. We have a lot of new business out there. We have a lot more families, black families, that are purchasing out there. So I think it's very important. I think it helps to make us stronger, and again, it just helps us to grow. I'm having a hard time, y'all. My signal's in and out. I apologize.
No worries, we understand. Listen, I want to ask the question, and then Charcy, I want to start with you because you as a new business owner, the stigma is that black businesses are just entirely too expensive, right? Like I can go to a K jeweler, not that I would ever cheat on Laurel Lane, but I
Right.
could go to a K jeweler, right, and seemingly get the same piece, right, at a cheaper price. Tell me why it is you feel that stigma has come upon black businesses.
Okay, so I've heard we've all heard it. We've all sometimes probably have said it like, okay, this business costs too much. It's too expensive. With black businesses, white business, whatever owned business. I don't. I think the problem is that black businesses are under a microscope. So when I say that, I mean if you take a black business, people will nitpick it and tear it apart to shreds. Like if it doesn't matter what you, doesn't matter how fast my shipping is, it doesn't matter how low or high my prices are, it doesn't matter, my customer service. If I have a bad day and I say one thing, or if I don't answer your email, everything that I do or anything pertaining to my business is under a microscope. Um, because so many times I've gone into businesses online and in person, and I might have said, okay, this is a little too expensive. That could have been a white owned too. And it's not that it's expensive. Maybe it's just out of my budget, or not willing. I'm not willing to pay for it. But it's just the fact that black business is under a microscope, and it affects business in a sense because I have seen jewelry businesses over the last couple of months sell items that are very similar to the items that I sell and I produce. I've seen one business sell a bracelet that I have on my website. And when I seen it, I clicked on it and I said, oh, well, she's selling this for $60. It must be 14 karat gold. I clicked on it and it's literally the same material as my bracelet. But I told myself, I'm like, oh my God, am I lowballing myself? Like, can I get more? I could be buying me a Gucci bag if I sell all these bracelets by then. But the reality of it is, the sad and hard truth of it is, if I sell this one bangle on my site for $60, nobody's really going to buy it. Somebody's going to say, oh, she costs too much. Oh, her stuff's too expensive. So it's not that I'm lowballing myself, but it's like, it's the fear of, if I raise my prices, am I going to get judged? Or, because these other brands do it and it's just fine, so.
And that is so important. Most, I want to come back to you, and let me just say, as a programming note, unfortunately, we could not get Daryl's connection stabilized. He just sent me a text giving his regards. We're going to try to get him on a day when we know he's going to have some time, whether dead or literally at rest. That's a funeral home joke if y'all don't get it, okay? But but Most, talk to me about the process of being in photography and having to stay competitive, but not overpricing or over projecting yourself, trying to stay in a competitive market, because it just seems as if everybody can go and take a picture, right? I mean, we've got the iPhone now, which comes with this high super deluxe quality camera that makes me look like I'm like the Prince of Egypt. Like, it just gives me all these definitions. Talk to me about like that pricing process for you.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, because this is right in line with what Sharice was saying and you just touched on. Because everyone has an amazing camera in the iPhone, everybody thinks they're a photographer. And to be honest with you, you can take amazing pictures that are just the same quality that you could get in the OMG booth right there from a brand new cell phone. And therein lies the problem with trying to sell things sometimes within our own community. Because Xavier and I were hanging out on Saturday, and then I try to sell him a product on Sunday. Xavier might think, hey, I can do that too. If Mose can do it, we were just hanging out. We wear the same shoes. We drive the same car. We went to the same school. I can do it. So they don't understand the fact that, yeah, you might be able to take a picture, but I've been thinking about taking pictures now for the last 22 years of my life. And I've been investing in this skill right now for over half my life. I don't sleep at night. I wake up, if I get a chance to sleep, I wake up at the break of dawn. So that's what people are paying for. But people don't understand that, because, we were just hanging out at homecoming together. So if you can do it, I can obviously do it, and it should only cost this amount of money. Now, when it comes to pricing your product, when we first started OMG Booth, again, we started it because we were looking for something that we couldn't find out there in the marketplace. And to be honest, we couldn't find it at the price point that we were willing to pay. So there were things out there that we thought we might be able to do, but it was a little bit outside of our price point. So we said, you know what, we can do it ourselves. We did it ourselves, and it turned out pretty amazing. And we started offering it to other brides that were getting married. And then we quickly learned that, you know what, I bet these brides can't afford us either. And we just started to a point where, you know, it unfortunately it just didn't work for everybody. But, you know, it's a learning process. When you're trying to price things, I personally, I don't try to price it for everybody anymore. You know, I can't offer everything to everyone. And the other thing, I know what I want to do later that day. I want to spend time. I have 2 children, so you know this, but I have 2 kids, and I want to spend time with them. So if I price this product at such a point, I'm not going to be able to afford to spend time with my kids. So I got to price it at a point where I can afford to spend time with my wife and my kids. And if that doesn't fit everybody's budget, then my job now is to find the person's budget that does fit. And we do that. So, and also, you know, I'm a human being. I'm passionate about certain projects. So there are some jobs, literally, and I'm just going to throw out numbers, but there's some jobs for one client that I might do for $500, and I might do that same exact job for another client for $5,000.
Right.
So, you know, you control things, and that's because of the type of service that I do now. To Sharcy's point, you know, it might be difficult to sell a bracelet to one client for this and a bracelet to another client for that. But in the service industry, you know, I can get into a conversation, and there, you know, certain things I can sprinkle on top that seemingly adds value, but it still allows me to connect with people and connect to a community that I love and push an idea or push a product that I love.
And that's so crucial, because Raven, you also are in the service industry essentially, right? And we talk about discipline, and people, when they come to you, they come with this projection, like, this is what I'm going to spend and this is what I'm going to get. That's not always realistic. And a lot of times, and again, I say this because when you up at night, you'll call me and keep me up at night trying to stay up with you. but it in a sense, you're so invested in trying to do what's best for your customer, right? How do you manage to have that conversation and say, listen, what you're looking for, we just may not get it for that price? Like, how do you have that difficult conversation? Because a lot of times, especially our people, I got $20, and I know with this $20, I ought to get 4 cheeseburgers, 4 French fries, 4 drinks, and 6 cookies with this $20. And baby, inflation has sent that up. That might get you the 2 cheeseburgers, but you're not gonna get them cookies on it.
That's it.
Talk to us about how you have to have that difficult conversation.
I actually have that conversation a lot, especially with my real estate clients. I just have to be, you know, like I told you the other day, you know, I try to, because I never want to hurt anyone's feelings, I try to, you know, give that good customer service. I'm always going to let the client try it, you know. If they think they can get it, let's look and let's see. Prove me wrong. And it never fails. Like, again, we have to come back and we have to have the conversation. Okay, now, you know, I told you you couldn't do it this way. I told you, you know, we weren't going to be able to find it for this price. Mm-hmm. Now let's try this again. So it's really, I try to be just very transparent, and because I let them try it their way first, and then we come back and I'm like, we regroup and this is what we're going to do. The majority of my clients, they appreciate that. And in the end, they always bring me someone else back because they love my transparency. I'm very transparent with all of my clients. I've been doing this for a while, so I know what we're not going to get and I know what we are going to get. So that's it.
And, you know, let's for a moment just kind of talk again. And Raven, I'm going to bring you back in on this, because you also are helping new business owners file for their LLC. Like that's something that you've also added into your business. And let me just say, amongst my friend group, out of the 5 of us, I think all 5 of us, if we have not already filed or in the process of filing for our LLCs, you helped Greater Love file for my LLC. Talk to me about this influx of Black people really now starting to see the need to get their business straight, as Grandma would say, get their business in order. Talk to me about that, because you're
life right.
Yeah, getting their life together.
So, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence with it. You know, I have a lot of clients, like such as yourself and some other people that I have helped form their business. It's just time. Like, they realized when this pandemic hit and a lot of people lost their jobs and lost their incomes, they now see how important it is, like you said, jump and start that business. But then I also have a large group of people who are not doing it for the right reasons, and, you know, that will show itself. But I think, like I said, this pandemic has really just shown us that it takes more than a 9-to-5 for us to survive. And when you work for yourself, nobody can fire you. At that point, you are responsible for your income. And that's it. Like, people are waking up and they're realizing, like, they got to go and get it now. Like, they can't depend on anybody else, because a check is never guaranteed, especially when you're waiting for somebody else to cut it for you.
That's got to go on a t-shirt. A check is never guaranteed unless it's Nike. Then it's a guaranteed check. But
it depends where you buy that Nike from, because it might not be the right check.
See, now we're not even gonna go there, because listen, the knockoff business, the African flea markets, they making that money. It ain't legal, but they making it. But we're gonna leave that alone. But we talk about being in a pandemic, and I believe it is safe to say, as I look at all 3 of you, and I've had conversations with all 3 of you throughout this pandemic, you've just been truly blessed, not just because you are your own boss, but because you don't hesitate to take care of those that are under you and that work for you, right? And so you're always looking for ways to ensure that the Black dollar that you have is reinvested, right, into the community. And so I want to commend and applaud you for that, because we don't always give credit where credit is due. On the news, we'll see Walmart gave X, Y, and Z, and this, that, and the other. But you all, as Black-owned business owners, are doing your part in the community. And so for that, we say thank you. Before we move into the next segment, I want to ask you, what is the driving force behind you as a CEO? What is that driving force like? Like, what does that look like? Mose, I know you said you get up every day, and it's more than just, you know, taking pictures, right? It's your wife and your children. Kind of talk to me about that. And then, Charcy, I want you to chime in, because you ain't got no kids that I know of. You ain't got no kids that I know of. I'm messing with you. But Mose, talk to me about that. What is that driving force like, especially in this pandemic where we're working from home?
Well, I mean, for me, it's always been about time management is a whack word for it, but I want to say controlling my time. I grew up watching my father go to a job that he didn't necessarily love. He actually sued his company for some racial discrimination stuff, and then still worked there for another 15 years or so. So, you know, I saw that growing up. I saw my mom go to a job that she loved, but, you know, I think in her later years, she started to get a salary that equated to the love that she gave that job. So, and again, you know, we grew up very middle-class family. We weren't rich, but I never remember really wanting anything, you know. But for me, I knew that there was another way. So ever since, as far back as I can remember, as far as having a job, I've just been able to kind of control and create my own destiny. Even when I was a teacher at Tri-Cities High School, I felt like I was there. I wasn't there as a job. I was there offering something to students. And like I said, I was giving students a product, and it was a product that I had that I was able to offer to them. So this whole ownership and being able to be my own CEO, for me, it's just about control. You know, this is the most dressed up I've been all week, and I just have on you know, I mean, if you look at me right now, I have not had a haircut since March, and it doesn't matter. And I've worked for clients from BET we were part of the we were a part of the rollout of Kamala Harris being named as VP. Like,
Wow.
so many different things that that's what I love about where we are right now with this pandemic. I talked about earlier how you just have to search for the client that can pay you what you want. Think about how easy it is now. I mean, you literally have access to billions of people, where before I had access to College Park, Atlanta, or at a greater good, the United States. We have access to everyone. So this pandemic is definitely, it's made your neighbor so much closer, in my opinion.
And Charcy, talk to me, because not just being a teacher, and we work in education together, and we've been out of the classroom since March. But talk to me about what this pandemic has really, the driving force, right? Because you relaunched in the middle of a pandemic, and it was successful. What was that driving force like? Like, because everybody can't do that. Everybody's not Charcy either, right? I gotta put my producer up, y'all. Everybody's not Charcy, but talk to me about that relaunch.
So coming up with the relaunch of Lord Lane, I entered 2020 with no expectations of launching Lord Lane. I didn't think I was going to be in a position to relaunch my business. I thought about it. I was like, I put it in the back burner, didn't think about it. Later in the year, maybe like March, April, I started planning my business. I started wearing my own jewelry that I started creating and designing. And I didn't tell anybody. Then one day I just decided I didn't tell anybody. So one day I just decided to launch my business. I didn't have no fear of, I'm in a pandemic, Corona, nobody's gonna buy. I set a goal for myself, my launch weekend. And when I say by that second hour, I literally tripled my goal that I had for myself. I'm not like the rest of the panel. I don't live off Lord Lane. I don't eat off Lord Lane currently. I am still an educator. I go to school full time. I work full time. Lord Lane is my side job for myself right now. The main goal for me is one day to make Lord Lane my main income. I do want to be able to say, yeah, I eat off Lord Lane. I say that all the time. But it's the passion for me. So I make sure that, like, even though I go to school and I go to work and I have this full-time job and I do all these things, the passion drives me to make sure, like, at the end of the day, Lord Lane is stocked. Lord Lane got new inventory coming out. Lord Lane is making sure that her customers are fine. Lord Lane is making sure that her packages are shipped and everything's good, because I want to do it. And I know I'm doing it for the future of my brand. So that's my drive.
And that's your favorite word, the brand.
You gotta say the brand for everything.
Yeah, and you absolutely are living, yes, with the t-shirt and everything. Say it again, Raven.
I said she is her brand.
I am. I'm the face of my brand.
So that segues us into the Black business secrets, right? What is the secret to being a Black business owner, right? And so let's talk about the brand. For those of you all that are watching, I just launched Greater Love, and Greater Love is essentially a fellowship. It is a fellowship that seeks to encourage, empower through various resources, right? And in launching that brand, and Lord, I'm gonna give Charcy her props one more time. I'm about to be sick of this. Charcy serves as my brand ambassador. Everything from the visual aesthetic to what it looks like online, that is my go-to, and we bounce ideas off of each other. But Raven, I know for you, your tagline is "Your plug wears heels." Talk about the importance of branding and how that has helped your business. I don't think a lot of people understand that branding component, it'll make or break you.
Yeah, branding is definitely everything. Someone actually, I didn't give myself that name. Someone else actually gave it to me. And then so I ran with it. I kept it and I kept it going. And now even people that have never seen me in real life, just maybe like on social media, when they run into me, that is a lot of times how they address it. Or it can be a client maybe that I've helped get into a home, or I've helped them with their credit or whatever it is. They always be like, my plug wears heels, and it's catchy. So from other people seeing that, it pulls other people in, and they're like, okay, what does she do? Let me clone this. And then they click on it, and that's like another client that's gained at that point. So I definitely think branding is it's essential. Like you have to brand yourself, and again, you have to be your own brand.
And Mo, you as well, being in the photography industry, right? They say pictures are worth 1,000 words, and we find that to be the very truth of the matter. Talk to me about what that brand looks like for you, because literally the phrase OMG, we use it all the time, but to put it and then make it relatable, to talk to me about that thought process behind that.
Well, it's funny, depending on who you talk to. If you talk to me, I came up with the name. If you talk to my wife, she came up with the name. But I think one of our secrets, we were riding in the car, and this is 10 years ago. Usher's song came on. Oh, 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 my. And then we were sitting there needing a name for our business, and that's how we came up with it. And when you talk about the brand, the most crucial thing that you can do with your business is just give people excellent customer service. You have to make sure. One thing I love about your boss, Willie Watkins, where the name means service. I mean, and I personally haven't had any dealings with Willie Watkins, but I know when I walk through the door that that's what I expect, service. And I think people who deal with OMG Booth, we've been around, like I said, for 10 years. When I run into clients now, it's very seldom that I meet a new client that hasn't heard of me. And not they haven't heard of me just because they need me to come out and do their job. We've just been around so long. We've been giving people amazing service for so long that, our name has traveled. We've been in your timeline. You've been at an event that we were at. I mean, it's funny when you showed that picture. You showed a picture before the job. I mean, before we got on tonight.
We gotta put it on the screen here.
Picture.
I showed the picture.
I didn't even know that was Chelsea over there with the rise up.
Yeah, that's Tarsi in her yesteryear. She's a grown woman now.
Yeah.
But so again, if the brand matters because I don't, Charles, you were never in my class, right?
No, I wasn't.
Right. But if Chelsea were getting married this year and she needed a photo booth option, what she would do, she would reach back to 2012, 8 years ago, and she would think about what that experience was like for her. And, I hope that she walked away with a great experience. I mean, it was an experience that she was able to pull up on her cell phone and share with us. So it meant something to her. So, that right there, that's all in your branding. That's in the way that you treat people, the way that you attack business. I mean, very simply, the way that you respond to people, it's crucial. It's important.
I want to talk to you for a moment about just kind of how society views us. It is no secret that Black people are the most disrespected, the most disregarded form of life. And I just truly believe that is the case because we are the most gifted. I mean, I preached a sermon a few months ago, and I said, it's something about this chocolate skin that causes the world to be afraid and to be terrified. And I just truly believe the spirit of entrepreneurship is embedded with us. When we look back at our ancestors and even some of the meals that we eat, it wasn't this grand elaborate, a dash of this and a dash of that and measuring that. It was literally, listen, cut that pig up. They're giving us the fat off the back of that pig, throw it in the pot, and you know what? Shoot, put a little salt on it, and let's see what we can make it happen. You know what I'm saying? It literally is just a matter of like just getting out there and trying it. How did you know it was time just to try it? And what would you say to someone who's watching that is afraid to just try it? What would you say? And Charcy, I'm gonna come to you first, because again, you and I as best friends, we powwow a lot. But when did you know? Because again, you didn't share this with anybody. This was something that we all were like, wait a minute, okay, this what you're doing? So tell us, like, how did you know that it was like, boom, let's hit it. Like now is the time.
So I shared a little bit of this when I opened and relaunched my business this year. I wrote like a little post. So initially when I launched last year, I just literally said, I want to do this. And maybe like a month later, I did something. I don't know what it was. I did something. And I didn't keep it up for more than 2 months, literally. When I shut that business down, it was the same business. When I shut that site down, I would have feelings, I would have thoughts about my business over and over again. I'm like, I really want to launch this business. I really want to do it the right way. But like I said, I didn't enter 2020 thinking, okay, I want to launch this business or I'm going to launch this business. But I would honestly pray on it. Like that's all I did. I prayed on it. I was like, if this is meant for me, I'm gonna do it. If this is meant, you'll open this door for me again. I literally sat and prayed on it. I did not have any investment. I didn't have any handouts. I didn't have anything. I had a savings account and I had a prayer. That's all I had. It was something inside of me that just kept saying, launch the business, launch the business. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this is a pandemic. Why, this is not on my head. Why are you thinking about this? Like, nobody's worried about jewelry right now. Why are you thinking about this? And it's like, launch the business, do the business. And it was like, okay, where I'm gonna get money from? Savings account. I took some money out of my savings account and literally just started running. I prayed about it. That's the only thing I can say. Just pray about it. If it's for you, it will be for you. And that's how I live my life. And that's how I go about my business. If it's for you, it will be for you. And that's all I can say that I did, honestly.
Raven, talk to me for a second, because again, your jump was kind of like a shove. Talk to me about talk to me. And if I could for a second, just share this piece about you. When you went to take your real estate license, right? You did not pass the first time. And I don't know if I was the first one that got the call, but I got the call and it was the Xavier, and literally, and we can laugh about it now, right? Because then it wasn't funny. Yeah. We weren't laughing then.
Yeah, because we were mad. We was big mad.
We were really mad. It literally was a matter of us stopping and, like Charcy said, that prayer component and saying, all right, listen, God, I don't know what lesson you're trying to teach us, but we're going to regroup, to re-strategize. And then that second time, and I want to say it was around my birthday, because I just feel like my birthday blessed
like the month before.
Yeah.
The whole month.
You know, you came back and was like, Xavier, it's like, it's done. And I just remember, like, at that point in life, everything that had been against you was now about to have to work for you. So talk to me about that shove into knowing that it was time to do your own thing.
Like you said, it definitely was a shove. Actually, I was scheduled to take my real estate test at like 2:00 that day. That morning I went to work and unexpectedly they terminated me. So even just going into the building to take my real estate exam, I was stressed, like beyond stress. I didn't know what I was going to do, moving forward. I'm like, oh my God, if I don't pass this test, like, how am I going to feed my kids? I'm losing my house. It was so much running through my head. But then again, I called you and we prayed about it. And I think at that point, it was, like you said, it was a shove because it was my time. I don't think that my boss fired me. I think that God fired me. He saw that in the previous month, I worked so hard to build my business, and I studied so much. Like, I was very passionate about what I wanted to do, and I had been doing it because I had my business probably well over a year before I actually started doing it full time. And I just think it was my time. I needed to take that jump, and I feel like God knows that I was not going to do it on my own. Like, he literally had to force me out the door because my mind was stuck on that constant paycheck, which was a really good paycheck that I was getting from the corporate world. So I was scared to jump out there and do it on my own. But now I look back and I'm blessed. I'm so thankful that he did push me out that door. He opened up another door. He closed that door behind me, and I'm in there. And like, life is good. And when I went through that door, he had many other doors that were on the other side of that door for me, and I've walked through those, and it's just been good.
And then Mose, I want you to tie this one up because for my teachers that are watching, and Charcy, I want you to listen too. My teachers that are watching, literally in a blink of an eye, my teacher was gone doing his thing, right? But Raven, you said something that's so cliche, but it really has a lot of weight. Life is good, right? And in spite of every single obstacle that was set out to break you, you turned around and broke every barrier. Like that speaks to volumes, not just of prayer, but when you really, really trust God, like there's nothing else, you know, for God to fire you. Yeah, dog, you got to make that move. Like, ain't no
And
question.
that's literally what he did. He was like, "Nah, girl, come on. I'm not
Like,
gonna play with you no more. You gonna get out here and you gonna do this and that."
and you turn around and now you're helping people achieve that very same goal, because the very thing that you told me, Xavier, it's like it's time. Like you're gonna either let God fire you or you're gonna go ahead and do what you need to do to position yourself. So Raven, you I know I tell you this all the time, but you are such an inspiration, especially to a lot of Black women, as a single mom, because there is so much power in trusting what God has for you. I'm not gonna preach out. Most talk to me about that move. I'm not gonna preach tonight. Talk to me about that move, because you left a contractual job.
I wasn't invited back to my contractual job. My last year, no, I mean I left, but it got to a point where, you know, I enjoyed teaching. I taught for 8 years. I didn't plan to be a teacher, but I met a lot of amazing people like yourself, and you know, actually friends that I created as a teacher. I started teaching when I was 21 years old. I was a lot closer to the kids' age than I was to their parents, and you know, there were a lot of indelible impressions that I made on a lot of people, but it got to a point where it just didn't make sense. You know, it started off where I was making my monthly salary on the weekend, and then it got to a point when I was signing some contracts that were very similar to what I was making in a year. And my last year of school, which was also your last year, Tri-Cities, I missed 40 days of as a teacher. So if you were a student missing that many days, that'd be a problem. So you can imagine as a teacher. But you know, just like everybody else on this call has said, I prayed about it. I thought about it. I talked about it to my fiance at the time, to my mom, to my dad, and entrepreneurship was always what I knew I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur when I was 15 years old, and teaching, again, it was a product that I had that I could offer. I never looked at myself as someone that was going to get 28 years in education. It was something that I could offer at the time. So, you know, I sat back, I thought about it, I prayed about it, and it just made sense. You know, and like Raven, you know, and I commend Raven being able to do this on her own and fight through it. My story's a little bit different. I definitely have a very supportive partner at the house. When when I was teaching in school, my partner was in school and getting her education to become a nurse. So when it came time for me to become an entrepreneur again and solely live off of what OMG was making, she had a paycheck that was coming in every day. So, you know, it was definitely some team work in there. I just say that to say, I tell this to everybody, I don't do this on my own. When the pandemic happened, I knew I had a nurse that was definitely going to have a job every day, because you needed healthcare without a doubt. So, you know, I didn't jump out a window without a parachute or a net beyond me. However, you know, I definitely work like I don't have a parachute. I work like there is not a net beneath me. So yeah. So you definitely all right, I'm sorry. I definitely had that support that was there. So when I left teaching, it was strategic. And for Charisse, Charcy, I'm sorry. I keep picking up those words.
My navigation, that's cutting them out.
Or any teacher that's watching, you know, you got to be strategic. And definitely the kids need just to stay there as long as you can. But if your goal is to move on and do some other things, you know, it's strategy. It's planning out that next step. It's looking at the savings account and making sure that if a pandemic were to happen, can I make it?
And that's a real statement now.
It's a
That's a
real
real
statement now.
statement. Listen, I'm again so humbled that you all would take the time out of your schedules to join me this evening just to have this conversation. One thing that we pride ourselves on at Zave's Corner is full transparency and just openness, because I believe that the only way that you're ever going to really know is if you're transparent, right? There's no sense in sugarcoating it because life is not sugarcoated. When God created us, He didn't create us with sugar. He took us out of sand, and there's no sugar in sand. But before we get ready to go into those of you all that are watching, I want you to stay tuned because I want to leave you with Zave's final moment. Before we get ready to go, just one word, one word, one word. Black entrepreneurship is. Black entrepreneurship is. And Charcy, I'm not even going to put you on the spot first. I'm going to go down here to Raven, and then we'll go over to Mo, and then we'll go up to Tarcy.
I was trying to say.
Black entrepreneurship is just one word. Excellent.
Me.
That's real. That's real. And again, R&Z Financial Services. Mo's Black entrepreneurship is
Essential.
essential. Wow. 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 That dead on the head, man. OMG booth. Charcy, Black entrepreneurship is
Inspirational.
inspirational. And you are inspiring us with this wonderful collection of Laurel Lane. Let me say again to all of you all, I am from the depth of my heart so grateful for the knowledge that you've shared as a business owner. I see other business owners who have commented. You just don't know the depth of your knowledge that you've shared. And so we definitely invite you back for a round two, a part two, right? Because hopefully one day COVID will be over, but if not, we're gonna talk about how to survive with your business in a pandemic. Because obviously you got it, right? But I pray, and as a voice that hears from God, I speak to each and every one of your businesses that you will not be in the same position in a year from now. God is only going to bless you exponentially. So continue to keep climbing, keep changing the world around you. If y'all could do me a favor, just wave goodbye to everybody as we get ready to get out of here. Thank you all so much. And you that are watching, stay tuned. Real quick for Zave's final moment. I'm so excited because on Friday, we Greater Love and the XR Greatness Foundation launched our t-shirt line. We launched our t-shirt line. And so I want to offer to you tonight 10% off if you go to our website, www.xrrgf.com. Use the promo code Zave's Corner. Use the promo code Zave's Corner. I want to offer you a discount. This is the first t-shirt, this first set of t-shirts that we've come out with. Every single dollar goes back into the XRR Greatness Foundation. I don't profit from it. Not right now. Not right now. Everything goes back into the Greatness Foundation because we've got a greater work to do and there's a greater love to be shown. But my final moment, I contemplated what I would share with you just about the power of this black dollar that we speak of. And I mentioned it earlier, but I thought about our ancestry and I thought about how our family and our forefathers that were slaves and even those that were sharecroppers had to always think of a way to provide for their family. They were always looking for a new way. I want to encourage you right now, those of you that are watching, there is within you the desire to take that leap, and you just don't know where to get started, what to do, which direction to go to. Listen, start your research. Just start looking. Look at how other people have done it. That doesn't mean you've got to do it the same way. Start putting together your plan and walk in your purpose right now. There is no time to delay your purpose and your calling. There is no time for you to sit around and say, I'll do it tomorrow. There was an old commercial say, maybe you do it tomorrow. Maybe you do it the next day. No, do it right now. Do it right now. Begin to operate in your entrepreneurial gift. You have been called to be a CEO. You have been called to be a president. You have been called to be an executive director. Tonight was the confirmation that gave you that authority to walk in your purpose. My brothers and sisters, there is no more time to wait around for a paycheck to be given to you. There is no more time for you to wait around for a 9 to 5 to clock into. Listen, put yourself on your own time clock. Put yourself in the position where you sign the paycheck and you make the rules and you are the boss, where you have the authority. And there is no power on earth that can stop you when your heart is in it. Listen, you are far greater than you can ever know. There is a greater love that is surrounding you, and there is a greater purpose within you that is going to propel you to the next dimension. Listen, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Again, to my panelists, thank you, thank you, thank you. To every entrepreneur that is watching, be it that you're an entrepreneur now or you're walking into your calling, go out there, make that black dollar matter. All right. As I always tell you, I love you, and there is nothing you can do about it. I'll see you in the morning at 7:15 for our Zave's Inspirational Vitamin. Thank you all so